British Eagle International Flight 802 was a tragic accident that took place on February 29, 1964. The flight was operated by British Eagle International Airlines, a British independent airline that had been in service for several years, providing both domestic and international flights. The aircraft involved in this accident was a Bristol Britannia, a turboprop airliner that was known for its long-range capabilities and reliability. However, despite its solid reputation, this flight ended in disaster when it crashed into a mountain in Austria, killing all 83 people on board. The cause of the accident was later determined to be pilot error in poor visibility, a tragic yet common factor in many aviation accidents of that era. The Bristol Britannia was a four-engine turboprop aircraft developed by the Bristol Aeroplane Company in the United Kingdom. It was designed for medium to long-haul flights and was widely used by both British and international airlines. By the time of the accident, the Britannia had been in service for several years and had generally proven to be a reliable aircraft. However, as with all aircraft, human factors and environmental conditions could still play a significant role in flight safety. British Eagle International Airlines was one of the independent airlines operating in the UK during the post-war period. Unlike the state-owned British Overseas Airways Corporation, BOAC, and British European Airways, BEA, British Eagle was a privately owned company that operated both scheduled and charter flights. The airline had built a strong reputation and was expanding its services at the time of the accident. The crash of Flight 802 was a devastating blow to the airline, affecting its operations and reputation. On the day of the accident, British Eagle International Flight 802 was on a scheduled flight from London Heathrow Airport to Innsbruck, Austria. Innsbruck is located in a mountainous region, and the airport is known for its challenging approach due to the surrounding terrain. Pilots flying into Innsbruck must be well trained in handling the approach, especially in poor weather conditions. The flight was carrying 83 people, including passengers and crew members. As the aircraft neared Innsbruck, the weather conditions were less than ideal. There was poor visibility due to clouds and fog, which made navigation more difficult. Pilots rely on both visual cues and instrument readings to guide their approach in such conditions, but in the 1960s, aviation technology was not as advanced as it is today. Although the Britannia was equipped with the necessary navigation instruments, the margin for error was still slim, particularly when flying in mountainous regions. The approach into Innsbruck required precise navigation, as pilots had to maneuver through valleys and avoid high terrain. The crew of Flight 802 was in communication with air traffic control, and they were given clearance to continue their approach. However, at some point during the descent, the aircraft deviated from its intended flight path. It is believed that the pilots may have miscalculated their position due to the poor visibility, leading them to descend prematurely. As the aircraft continued its descent, it unknowingly flew towards a mountain. Without visual confirmation of the terrain ahead, the crew had little time to react. The Britannia crashed into the side of the mountain, instantly killing all 83 people on board. The impact was severe, and the wreckage was scattered across the mountainous terrain. Rescue teams were dispatched as soon as authorities were alerted to the missing aircraft. However, due to the difficult terrain and poor weather conditions, reaching the crash site was a challenging task. When rescuers finally arrived, they found no survivors. The wreckage was examined, and investigators began the difficult task of determining what had caused the crash. The investigation into the accident concluded that the primary cause was pilot error in poor visibility. The pilots had inadvertently descended too soon, likely due to misjudging their position relative to the terrain. The challenging approach into Innsbruck required precise navigation, and in such conditions, Even a small miscalculation could have catastrophic consequences. B. Crash of British Eagle International Flight 802 was a tragic event that highlighted the risks associated with flying in mountainous regions, especially in poor weather conditions. The accident underscored the importance of accurate navigation, pilot training, and improved aviation technology. In the years that followed, advances in avionics, radar systems, and navigation aids helped reduce the likelihood of similar accidents. For the families of the victims, the crash was a devastating loss. The sudden and unexpected nature of aviation accidents makes them particularly traumatic, and the relatives of those on board Flight 802 had to cope with the grief of losing their loved ones. The accident serves as a solemn reminder of the risks of aviation, the importance of vigilance in flying, and the need for ongoing advancements in flight safety. If you found this story interesting and want to hear more about aviation disasters, history, and scandals, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more detailed and well-researched content. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. See you in the next video.